Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for Z Nation Season 2. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is giving my thoughts on what I think is going to happen in the next episode of Z Nation titled Zombaby. Just in case you guys are not caught up with Z Nation Season 2, this video will contain spoilers. Okay, so as we know, where we left off in the last episode, Batch 47, the group, left the Minneapolis lab, realizing it was a bus, and they run into a familiar face on the road, Serena, who was also known as Pie Girl. This is the woman that Murphy had relations with in the Sisters of Mercy episode, and as a result of those relations, Serena became pregnant with Murphy's child and has been carrying the child. And of course, she is in the latter stages of her pregnancy. I don't necessarily know whether 9 months has gone by or whether, just the fetus is growing at a different rate than what a normal human would. But nonetheless, she is about ready to give birth to this baby. And of course, we know that the baby is linked to Murphy in many ways because Serena, looked down at her belly in the season premiere and asked where Daddy was, in other words, Murphy, and the baby used its hand inside the stomach to point in the direction. So it's very clear that there is some kind of a connection. The baby is definitely an energetic little fella or little gal. We don't know whether it's a boy or a girl yet. Whether it will have a gender, that'll be interesting to see exactly what is going to be born. And there is a sneak peek as well as the trailer for the next episode that you can go on Z Nation Sci-Fi and watch. But I'm going to explain a little bit about what it's about and what I think it means. I'm going to start with the sneak peek. The sneak peek shows, it starts out with Serena having morning sickness, or at least she's throwing up. That's basically how the clip starts. She's throwing up, and, Doc checks on her, asks her if she's alright. She goes, yeah, I'm good, hey, this is life. Serena just being her cheerful self. It's amazing. With the circumstances that she is overall cheery and fine. But we get to a couple more serious matters in the sneak peek. And one of them is Warren. She basically tells, the group that they need to make sure that this baby is born and that it lives and that they keep it alive. The reason being is because, this is, in a sense, Murphy's, it has Murphy's DNA. The child is obviously Murphy's. And, if it has Murphy's DNA, that may mean that the cure is also flowing in the baby. And that would make sense. When you think about genetics, a lot of various different viruses, bacteria, illnesses that used to plague people hundreds and thousands of years ago don't really have as much prevalence anymore. For example, the plague, the bubonic plague that you hear about. Back in Europe, whenever that was happening during the Dark Ages, it would kill millions and millions of people. But what ends up happening is there's some individuals who are obviously immune to it, or it doesn't affect them in the same way that it would somebody who's not. And when, of course, they have relations with other individuals that are also immune and they have children, those children will also be immune. And that's just a part of, the cycle. And then, of course, bacteria and viruses evolve, over time and become more aggressive because they're very simple organisms. They're able to adapt a lot quicker than, say, we would. But in this particular case, it would make sense that the virus and the cure would be flowing within the baby. So they want to keep it alive. And Warren basically says, well, if anything happens to you, Murphy, we need to make sure that this baby makes it. And that's important to her. So Vasquez lets them know about a location nearby that would be safe for them to go. And of course, while they're getting ready to go, they're attacked by bandits of some kind. There's people up in the brush shooting at them, and the group takes cover. And then Serena, just being so awesome, she picks up, an assault rifle and basically just blows them away. She's just like, there's a baby on board, that whole scene. She does that, and it's just funny. I mean, she empties that clip up into the brush. And then, one minute she's that aggressive, and then the next minute she turns around and she's like, okay, hey, everything's all good. Just has that smile and cheery face. She's an amazing character. Part of me hopes that she does survive the birth. I think that would be very nice for her to remain on the show for a little bit longer. Heck, make her a main cast member. I think that would be very interesting. To see her evolve as a character. I think she's very interesting. I love the way that she, acts and behaves, and I think that it's very, very interesting. For her to be back, I'm really happy. And, it would be very nice if she would make it back, but I think the chances of that are about 50-50 right now because, in the trailer, we do, of course, see that she does go into labor and she is beginning to give birth to this child. And, we see Doc look down, like there's the head, and Doc goes, no, that is not a head. Now, of course, that could be, something, that could just mean that it's an arm, it's a leg, it's another different body part, possibilities like that. I don't know if they're going to give birth to some kind of demon-looking thing or something interesting. I mean, we'll wait and see. I'm not going to speculate too much on that. But if I had to make my best guess, I think that they will be giving birth to a baby that is, partly looks like Murphy, like with the skin being the way it might look somewhat like Cassandra does, but we'll see. And I think that what's interesting is that this episode really seems to be recreating, the Bible story from the gospel about Jesus' birth. They talk about in the trailer, one of the lines they use is that the zombie Messiah is being born. And there are lots of different hints to that, that they're playing along that storyline. One of which is that, if you're familiar with, the Christian story, if you're familiar with the Bible, then you'll know that, Jesus was born in a manger in a barn. And, as a result of that, you read the story, he was laid in the manger, there were various different animals there, you hear some of the songs about it, about the, I am the dove, if you ever heard that song, I think it's called We Friendly Beast, something like that. When you, listen to that song, you have various animals in the stable, and of course, you have Amish zombies that they kill, which could be seen as like the shepherds that came. You have one scene, and I'll show you a picture if I find it, but you see that there is a camel, and it's a zombie camel, and you see three men stumbling along with it. They're zombies, of course, as well. And of course, if you are familiar with the story, there were three wise men that came and gave Jesus gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So I don't know whether these zombies are going to be coming and bringing gifts other than I want to eat the humans inside, but they are in a sense really recreating this image. And you also see, this idea of, Murphy being some kind of quote unquote higher, I wouldn't call it higher power again, because I don't want to get too mixed up in this. I respect everybody's right to believe whatever they want to believe. I'm a Christian myself, but, this video is not in any way saying what's right or wrong. You can believe what you want. What I'm saying is that this video, this episode is really going to be recreating a lot of the elements of Jesus' birth in this episode. And, of course, if you are familiar with the Bible, you know that, it was God that made Mary pregnant, the Virgin Mary. Now, obviously, this baby was not conceived through those kind of measures, obviously. I mean, there was actual physical relations, it's assumed. But in a sense, I think that what they're referring to is this fact that Murphy being this kind of more powerful person. He's labeled by Dr. Kurian as the one thing that's going to survive when everything else is gone. And if you are familiar with Bible terms again, you hear about God potentially ending the earth at some point, and individuals who believe go to heaven, and those again do not. And again, that's just from the Bible. I'm not preaching for anybody to believe anything they don't want to believe. But, you see Murphy, in a sense, being in this elevated position of being somebody who is more powerful than any other human that is on the earth. And Kurian labeled him as that, saying you're going to survive when everybody else is not. So I think that this baby, may in a sense even be more powerful than Murphy. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what is going on here. But that seems to be what the episode is going to be about. I mean, I think that they're going to be taking Serena to the barn. I think that they're going to be, helping her give birth. And again, I think that the show is going to be adding elements that recreate Christianity, the Bible, and Jesus' birth, because it really does seem there's a lot of hints in here, hinting at that, plus the description in the trailer says about, the zombie messiah. So, we're seeing a little bit of a description there. So, I'll be very interested to see what happens. I am interested in this episode. This episode may be a very big game changer. I mean, we may see something change drastically. And it may change Murphy's status on the show, where he's not the only one who's holding the cure. And that could definitely change his perspective as a character. And of course, maybe seeing him as a father figure, it might be very interesting. Plus, you also have to wonder, will the baby grow at a faster rate than, say, a regular baby would? I mean, we've seen other media, like if you've watched Falling Skies, the show with aliens, when the one baby was born, she, was, I guess, had some alien, DNA in or something weird like that. I don't exactly understand. And she became like a teenager after a couple months. It could be possible that the baby may grow at a faster rate. I think even in Twilight, I think that when Renesmee was born, she matured a lot faster than what a baby would. So we may see this baby mature a lot faster as time goes on, and may become a very integral part of the show. And I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. And again, whether Serena lives or not will definitely be, we have to watch the episode to find out, because I could see the baby coming out, the natural way, and, that Serena would be okay and join the group and maybe become a very powerful mother figure for this baby. Or I could also see an unfortunate, gruesome scene where the baby would, burst out of her, body, kind of like in Alien, the movie Alien, when the alien would burst out. I could see that happening too. So we're just gonna have to wait, watch the episode, and see what happens. So I'm gonna bring this video to a close. We'll see what happens on Friday. Let me know what you guys think, and again, watch the trailer. Let me know what you guys think about it. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. And if you guys have any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, please don't be afraid to suggest them. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you very much for watching.